Hi, and welcome to the third postpartum workout. Today's workout is going to be a full body workout with a 10-minute warm up and then 2 sets of exercises, 5 minutes each. So the total, and then a cool down. So the total amount of workout today is going to be about 30 minutes, but you can easily expand it to be 40 or 50 by repeating the main exercises twice or even 3 times. And I'll let you know when you could do that, and all the moves will be easily modifiable. You will need a yoga mat towards the end, or just like some kind of pleasant floor surface. You're going to be doing quite a bit of hands and knees for towards the end, because when we're doing full body workouts while being conscious of our core, you don't want to if you're being conscious about your core, you want to have as much stability as possible for the start, because we're going to be moving all the different limbs and muscle groups at the same time, which makes it much harder to retain your balance. And the closer you are on the floor, or if you're doing a floor workout, then it's at least you have that balance component out, so then you can really just focus on stretching out, for example, an arm and a leg at the same time, or alternating sides, or just doing those more difficult moves while having the stability of being closer to the ground instead of trying to balance in the air. So let's just get your yoga mat ready and let's get started. First, we're going to be doing high knees for a minute. So just like with the other exercises, don't worry about what your stomach is doing and just walk normally. The point of the warm up again is just to get your body moving and not necessarily to start worrying about engaging your abs, because that is what the exercise portion is for. Oh, my timer didn't start. Alright, so keep marching, and just like in the other exercises, the modification for this one will be just even to shift your feet side to side if that feels good for you. The only thing you should be worrying about maybe is just making sure your shoulders are rolled back. Don't worry about what your abs are doing. This might be your march. Eventually you're going to work it up to lifting your feet off the ground, and then to walking, and eventually you want to be doing these high knees. I'm going to do this for 10 more seconds. Okay, and now we're going to go into our jumping jacks. So remember the modifications from before. This might be your jumping jack. If that's where you're starting, it looks nothing like it, but you are, believe it or not, working up to the same motion. Or this might be it. Then you're going to progress more. Might add in the arms here. You're going to add a little bounce. And then eventually you progress into full-on jumping jacks. I'm going to do this for another 30 seconds. And just keep going on whatever feels good for you. So I'm just showing you all the modifications, but if you want to keep jumping because that feels right, then you can keep jumping. If all you're doing is keeping your arms by your side and just moving a foot out to the side, then you can do that for the full minute. All right, now we're just going to do a windmill, but 30 seconds forward and 30 seconds backwards. Again, there's a modification for this. Could just be, you're barely moving your arms, or you can just do swimming, one arm at a time. It's easier this way probably if your shoulders are tired, your neck is tired, and you're just working your way up. And we're going to do the same thing in reverse. So eventually you're going to work up to this, where you can just do arm circles. But if that is just too much for you to keep moving, just one at a time, like you're swimming. Now we're doing skater jumps. So This is the full exercise. You're welcome to keep this up for a full minute. If you need to modify, you might be stepping it out. You might be stepping it out a little faster. Or if this range of motion in your legs is too much for you, then you could just be doing this. See, I'm slightly bending forward. I'm not really standing up straight too much. I'm not doing the full bend. I'm just a little bit forward. Have 5 more seconds. Okay, and now we're just going to kick our butts while circling your arms. So again, full body workout. If this is too much for you, if you couldn't even circle just your arms before, what you can do now is just give your arms a rest. Maybe do a few kicks and then do a few swimmer's arms. Or maybe you're just going to move your arms a little bit, do a few kicks. As long as you keep moving and it's relatively the same moves of the exercise, that's perfectly fine. You might be walking it out. Okay, 2 more, and then we're halfway through the warm-up. So the warm-up is definitely part of getting a heart rate up over here because of this cardio full body workout. This is part of it. So next up, here we're going to be walking with your arms straight and to this side. So I was bringing it up a little bit more from just walking, which we did in the beginning. And again, you can modify this by just not doing the arms, just going back to regular walking. You can just swing your arms a little bit. Just make sure you keep on moving for 5 more seconds. Last warm-up exercise, we're going to do toe taps. So for this one as well, you're supposed to stand more than hip distance apart. But if that is hard for you, then you can put your legs shoulder width apart. And then if obviously you're not going to be doing as big of a range of motion if you're standing like this and you're not going to be able to lean over as much. So then maybe you're just leaning forward slightly and tapping like that. You see, I'm only like, not even 45-degree angle. I'm a little less than that. Or like you said, you might be all the way here. Okay, 10 more seconds. And last one. Okay, we're going to take a little break here because that was a bit of cardio to jump into right away, right? We're going to repeat this one more time, and then you'll be pretty much halfway done with the exercises. For this one, the warm-up is doubling up as your cardio. So if you started a little bit slower in the first round, but you feel like you can still, do at least that same level for the second round, that's what you're going to do. The second round, though, you're going to try and engage your abs this time. So remember to roll your shoulders back, like if you're pinching a pencil between them. Breathe out, let your stomach drop. Breathe in, and then exhale, like forcing the air out of you. So you're pushing that belly button in towards your spine, and then you start walking. So we're repeating this again, same time, but this time you're being conscious of what your abs are doing. So this time you want to make sure, so like I mentioned in the previous videos, you might want to keep a hand on your stomach So you can feel if it's pushing out, if your muscles are tight, or if you feel like it's, you know, going back to the way it felt before, like it just feels different, you can notice that. You can switch hands if it's easier. Or you can put your hands on your hips if you can feel your stomach muscles that way. Just whatever way works for you. Or you might just be so much thinking so hard about your stomach. It's not the exercise that is hard for you, but it's trying to think and do at the same time. So if you're moving too quickly or you're moving too much, it might be hard to, you know, keep you in mind, you know, tight stomach, because you're so worried about doing the exercise. So if that's where you are, just worry about your stomach, don't worry about the exercise, as long as you're moving in some way. Same thing with the jumping jacks. You probably, if you need to be this aware of your stomach right now, you probably don't want to do the jumps. So you might just be doing these hops right here. Maybe add in arms here or there. What also helps is with every movement, if you exhale, like forcing the breath out of you, that forces your stomach to contract in even more while you're breathing. So you're engaging those abs while still breathing and not holding your breath and doing the exercise. Now, waving arms in a windmill fashion is a little bit harder if you're trying to focus on your stomach. So I encourage you right now to breathe out, let it out, and then take a breath in, force it out, push your stomach in, tighten, and then maybe start doing one arm, start doing the other arm, feel what your stomach is doing, see if you can continue holding that contraction. And if you feel like your stomach is still tight and you're still holding it in and you can add both arms, do so. Now we're going to circle backwards. And you might notice that as you're lifting your arm up, it gets harder and harder to hold it in. So if that's where you are, then maybe this is all you're doing. Maybe you're just, like in a kiddie pool, that kind of swimming. You're just splashing around waist level. The point is you're moving your arms further away from your body, at least somewhat, while still holding that engagement. For 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now skaters. Now this time it's going to feel much different if you're actually really consciously engaging your stomach. You'll notice that as you lean forward, thanks to gravity, it really gets much harder to hold your stomach inwards. So what we're going to start here is once you have that tightness, we're going to start off without leaning forward, and you're going to gradually lean forward while doing the exercise as much as you can until you feel like you're totally losing it. At this point, I can't really feel if my abs are engaged or not for myself. So I'm not going to continue like this because that is not helpful to healing the ab separation. So what I want to do, breathe out again, make sure I get that engagement, and then restart to whatever that point was before I started losing it. And you'll notice as you do these exercises, you're going to be getting lower and lower and closer to doing the full exercise without the modifications. Okay, now keep that engagement. As you straighten up and you stop moving, you might notice that you're retightening your stomach automatically now. Start kicking your butt. And this might be it for you. You might be using all your concentration right now to make sure those ab muscles are engaged. And once you start moving your arms, it might be too much for you. So what I encourage you to do now is instead of circling your arms, maybe just wave them side to side. And just like before, you might notice that when they reach above 45 degrees, like right about here, that's when it starts getting harder to keep your muscles engaged. Or you might notice it even sooner, depending on how bad your separation is. All right, 1 more second. Now we're back to walking normally. So first, just walk. You'll notice this walking feels very different from when you first started the warm-up exercise and we started walking as the first thing. And now you want to add your arms front and side. So when you're not marching and you're just moving your feet much more slightly, you'll see that it's easier to hold the ab engagement and your arms can have a wider range of motion. It's really when we start moving all our body parts further away from our core that it really starts to become more and more difficult. So this shouldn't be too hard for you, although once you reach your arms up straight in front of you, away from that 45-degree angle, it may get a little harder. And last one, so just like with the skaters, toe taps, you don't want to lean all the way forward, because if you do, you probably don't need these exercises. So force your breath out, retighten, lean forward as much as you can. This is it. This is it for me. Right here, I'm not even at 45 degrees really. And I'm doing the exercise, but without reaching the floor all the way, because the point is not how far you can go, but how much can you keep your abs engaged. And one way that you can make the exercise a little bit harder, if you're at your max ab engagement but you're not really leaning forward too much, is maybe opening up your legs a little bit more and see if you can keep the engagement that way. So there's two different ways kind of to challenge yourself. One is by leaning forward more, the other one is by going into a wider stance. Have 4 more seconds. Okay, take a little break. We're halfway done. So the warm-up here was also part of the workout, and now we're going to be doing a little more workout focused, like full body workout and less cardio style. Going to start in 10 seconds. We're going to start lunging backwards. So engage your abs. Arms up. So we're starting with arms up this time. Force your breath out. All right, try to get your arms straight above your head. None of this. You don't want arms like this. You want to really stretch them out. Engage. And we're lunging backwards. So the way this is different from the other lunges that we did, if you did the previous exercises, is that we're keeping our arms up instead of at our sides. So this just stretches out the muscle more and it makes it more difficult to keep your abs engaged. If you are not there, drop them back to your sides. If you feel like you can get down here but your abs are not strong enough and you need to use momentum or push off your foot to bring you forward, that's not really using your core muscles to do the lunge. So you might just be stepping it back like this a little bit. This might be your lunges for this exercise. Five more seconds. All right, now we're going to be doing forward lunges. So same thing, only now instead of arms overhead, we're going to have them out to our sides. So force out your breath, engage, right? And now you're doing a forward lunge. That is straight in front of you. I'm on a diagonal so you can see what the lunge looks like. See, straight forward, not diagonal to your body. You want 90-degree angles. Same thing as backward lunges. If you need to use momentum to push yourself back, you don't want to do that. This might be your lunge. And you just keep on progressing, getting lower and lower every time you do the workouts. Now, I'm going to be doing a squat with a side crunch. So the way this looks like, arms on your hips, squat, crunch, squat, crunch. Or you can have your arms up, squat, crunch, squat, crunch. This allows for a little bit more range of motion so you're not squatting into your elbow, but you have this whole big, extra range of motion right here. So engage. And if you can't squat, maybe you just have your arms here and you're tight. And that's all you can do. And then you can just shift your weight. If you feel like you can do more than that, maybe you can do this. And then shift your weight. And you do that. And as long as you feel the engagement, that's where you're going. And you might progress a little bit more. Then you might be doing this thing. And then eventually you can squat down and then do that. Remember, the squats might be something that you're progressing to as well, so don't worry about those too much. Or you might notice that doing the side crunch is actually pretty easy for you, but you're losing your engagement as you squat. So every time you squat, when you come up, force out that breath again. So you're tight for the crunch. Just blow it out. All right, now what we're going to be doing is we're going to start working the oblique muscles as well. So make sure you tighten. We're going to squat down a little bit and then go up to the side. So you want to end up in a straight line like this. So this should be not too hard for your engagement because really all you're doing is just moving your foot a little bit behind you. And because of the twist, that already tightens your muscles more than when you're just standing straight up and down and lifting both arms. So adding that extra twist, you're engaging more muscles. It might actually feel like it's easier to lift your arms up when you're in a twist than when you're standing straight up. So we're going to do 30 seconds on one side, 30 seconds on the other. Like I said, when we're alternating sides, it gets a little more difficult. So we're just going to be doing one side first, then the second side. Start in 2, 1. So you squat and then you just turn to the opposite foot. And just like before, you might feel like at this point you're losing it. Blow out your breath when you straighten back out again to retighten. So what this also does is it works out your stomach even more because you're loosening it up as you're losing the engagement when you're squatting, but then when you straighten up, you retighten. So you're constantly dropping and then retightening. Last one on this side. Then immediately go on the other side. So if you force out your breath as you're straightening up, that retightens you. Three more of these. 1, 2, 3. All right, now we're going to be doing a march, twist. So it's different from the side crunch because your knees are only going in the front of your body, up and down, and you're just twisting at the waist. So it's slow and controlled. So you have your arms out to your sides, force out that breath, engage your muscles, and as you're marching, twisting your top. If that is hard for you to begin with, get that engagement and see if you can just rotate your upper body. Then stop rotating, keep that engagement, and march. And even if both of these separately are hard for you, try just one. You might be surprised because you might notice that with the twist again, your abs engage on their own already. So when you lift your right leg, you twist to the right side, and then left leg and you twist the left. So you might feel like you're momentarily losing control of your abs, but by the time that that's over, your twist is over. So it's similar principle to what we did before, where it's that engage, disengage, engage, disengage, which is a really great workout. All right, take another 30-second break. And at this point, you can either rewind a little bit, do this all over again to get your full, full body workout, or you can just keep on going, and then we're gonna do a cool down. So to make it more challenging, again, just go back, redo this all over again. Otherwise, let's get ready to get to the on the ground. suggest you roll out your mat now, because even though the first two exercises will still be standing, just like we did before, there's no break. We're just going straight through to really get the benefit of the cardio portion of this too. So you're engaging all your muscle groups, moving your full body with every exercise, and it's one after the other. There's not really any breaks in between. So blow out your breath, force it out, engage your stomach, arms up, and all we're doing now is we're just doing the twist. We want to solidify the obliques, because these muscles are not just up and down on our sides, but they're a little bit diagonally, so they also help bring in the abs that are running up and down in our body that have been separated. So by cutting a little bit sideways, by strengthening them, we're bringing the middle ones in as well. Now, 10 more seconds of this, then we're going to make it a little bit more interesting. So put your legs a little bit further apart. Do 2 more of these, 1, 2, and now as you rotate, see if you could do a little squat. So every time your elbow gets in front of your body from your twist, you just bend your knees slightly. This is not a deep chair pose. We're not doing yoga twists. You're just engaging another large muscle group while you're working out. So this is also going to give you a little fat burning boost by engaging your full body. Last one. Now, this one I think is the hardest one because it includes balance. So tomorrow's series is going to be all about balance, but for today, you're just having this tiny snippet of it. Balance is really great for engaging your core for core exercises, because anytime you have any exercise, no matter what body part it is that you're focusing on that includes balance, you need your full core to balance. So make sure you're engaged. And now we're going to be kicking to the side. So all you might be doing is maybe just standing like this. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you might notice that as you're trying to balance, trying to slouch forward, your posture is getting wonky. Roll your shoulders back, pinch that pencil between your shoulder blades, and make sure your stomach isn't flopping. Make sure your pelvis is aligned. So pretend your belly button is being pushed into your spine. Notice how everything lines up. Roll back and kick to the side for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now we do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now the last 3 exercises are all going to be on your mat. So the first one is going to be on your back, actually, because the back exercises are a little bit easier on your stomach engagements. It's giving your mind a break, not your abs. It's giving your mind a break because you don't need to think as hard about keeping your stomach engaged, because just being in this position is going to engage your muscles. So don't lay down on your back, right? You're not straight down. You're not doing jackknife movements. So you go on your side a little bit, roll onto your back, and then you lift up. So it doesn't matter if you're thinking or not thinking about your stomach, it should automatically engage as you lift up your glutes. Now we're not just staying here, we're going to kick up. If the kicking up is more difficult for you because you wouldn't really feel a disengagement of your abs for this one, but you might feel a lot in your pelvic floor. This is a really great pelvic floor exercise. So it feels like, it's just too much in this region for you, like you're just feeling a lot of things, then maybe you're just holding this pose. Maybe that's all you're doing. Or maybe you're going down and then holding it up as much as you can and then back down again. Or you might be able to just stay here the whole time and just maybe lift up your heels. Or we might be doing the exercise together and you'll be kicking up for another 20 seconds. And if you feel your butt dropping, you don't want to be like this and kicking up, right? Up, up, up. You want to stay like that and kick up. Got 15 more seconds, so just keep reminding yourself, push that butt up. 5 more seconds. Last one. And drop down. Right, next ones, the last two are going to be a little bit harder because we're going to be fighting gravity over here. So what does this look like? First of all, a lot of you might even have trouble engaging your abs in this position. As soon as you're parallel to the floor, you know, all bets are off. There's no way you can get that stomach inwards, which is totally fine to start from that spot. So what are you going to do if this is one of our exercises? What you can do is sit back, pull your stomach in, engage, right? So if you see here, I'm pushing it out a little bit and my pelvis is tilted like this. So bring it in and then see how much I can hold it in. Maybe I'm over here. Maybe I can't get all the way down here and keep holding it. You go as far as you can. Maybe your whole exercise is just you hanging out right over here for a full minute. And maybe every so often you walk forward for a second and then you go right back where you can hold it again. But if you can hold it while you're on all fours, you're pushing it in really tight. If this is taking all your concentration, you stay here. If you feel like you can move a little beyond that, or at least you want to try, keep those abs engaged. And we're going to kick back. All right, you got 45 more seconds. Remember, force your breath out if you feel like you're losing it. Now, if you still feel fine, if your stomach's still strong, keep going. Otherwise, if you're like me and you feel like you're starting to lose it, sit back, breathe out, just let your stomach flop, because at some point maybe it's just been so exhausting mentally to keep that engagement that you don't even know what you're doing anymore. Might even take a full breath, reset yourself, breathe out, suck it in. And for the last 10 seconds, maybe you're just hanging out right here, just holding that engagement inwards. If you can do it, 3, 2, 1. And the last one is a strong finish, 3, 2, 1. Now, if you still have your engagement here, we're going to move on to the next harder exercise, mountain climbers. So eventually you're going to even move away from the arms and legs, and you'll be able to do planks while engaging your stomach. But if you're watching this, I'm assuming you are not here just yet. So there's definitely no way you can keep that engagement and do something like this without furthering your injury. So what you want to do here is, if you can keep that engagement of your stomach, you're just going to be doing like this, just a modified mountain climber. If you're not there yet either, maybe you can take a yoga block, a pillow, a little stool. Maybe like me, I have a little ledge on the wall over here, so you can still lean forward a little bit, get that gravity engagement, and just lift up your legs like this. The point is, you want to be fighting gravity, or fighting gravity with your stomach, while still lifting your legs alternately. Right, you have 10 more seconds. See if you can pick up a little speed. We got 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. Right, now we get to cool off. Or you're welcome to repeat this. Like I said, you want to get an extra boost of cardio, you're welcome to repeat it. Otherwise, stand up, just walk and swing your arms a little bit. We're going to do this for a few seconds. Just like the warm-up, the cool down over here is less about stretching and more about also including movement and cardio as a very light workout at the end. This is the most intense workout in the series because it is full body and cardio. That's also why I'm doing each exercise only one time through, and I'm doing the warm-up twice. that engagement. If you feel like you're losing it, push it out again. Push out your breath. Okay, stretch our calves. So you can do that by, if you're standing sideways a little bit, just step back a little bit, try to put that heel on the floor. The other side. Stretch out your hamstring if you need something to hold on to something. Otherwise, just stretch. All right, shake out your arms. We're gonna stretch them out overhead a little bit. On the other side. All right, now we're gonna go down on the floor a little bit. See if you can stretch a little bit sideways. Not much, like I said, this is not a flexibility contest. We're not doing yoga here. That really is just about gently stretching your muscles while keeping your stomach engaged. You might wonder, how do you keep your stomach engaged in this position? Don't worry about it too much. This is the last stretch of the series. But if you did want to, then a big part of it is posture. So in a lot of the bent over poses, you still want to engage your stomach while you're very straight, and then slowly, as you roll over, you're keeping that engagement. It's really hard to engage your stomach while you're bent over, because the idea is just to push those muscles in. But if they're all squished together and just hanging out, while you're in the crunch, it's very difficult, especially if you're just starting to feel the muscles that you're supposed to be working. Okay, see if you can grab your arms behind your back. So just doing this, that helps you also stretch out the abs just a tiny bit. Shake it out, and we're done. So thank you for this workout. If you survived it, that was a full body with cardio workout, and you can always rewind the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes into the video, and repeat one of the main segments again to get even more full body cardio, so that if you have a weight loss goal also, that would be really great for that.